Pat, refresh my memory. Why are we talking about Battle of the Worlds? What?
It's Battle of the Stars. Oh, it's Battle of the World. It's not Battle
I
of the
hope so.
Stars.
We're talking about the
Okay,
movie with
Battle of the
Claude Rains,
Worlds.
right? Okay, yes.
Where's yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I wrote Battle of the Stars on top of my cheat sheet.
This was almost a totally different show.
The reason is I was on this list. I'm on a lot of lists, and one was I'll send you a DVD of Battle of the Worlds, and I said, hell yes, send me a DVD, because I knew I was on this show, and I knew eventually we'd get to it, and we have. So that's why.
Okay, so you knew the movie beforehand, I take it, or were you just like, "Hey, free DVD, let's talk"?
No, because I gotten it sent to me on DVD. I said this would be good for There's Nostalgia Like Nostalgia.
Okay, so you were unfamiliar with the movie before getting the disc.
I'd never seen it in my life, sir.
Now that you have, do you regret it?
No, I don't. I really believe, and I believe this is why it was re-released, it's a precursor to both Kubrick and Star Wars, in a sense, with a touch of, I don't know, what's that one? Failsafe.
With actually, and also precursor to Moonfall, which came out earlier this year.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen Moonfall. It's funny.
Okay.
Now I want to see it because it's like Battle of the Worlds.
I would recommend
stars.
I would recommend neither.
Sorry about that, dude.
No, it's.
But come on, when's the last time you saw a truly bad movie that you kind of enjoyed?
Well, I didn't kind of enjoy this movie. It's an hour and 23 minutes. I swear to God, I was checking the runtime, the little slider, because I just watched it on Tubi. I was checking this every 3 minutes because I'm like, all right, we've got to be into the third act by, oh my God, it's only been 10 minutes. No joke.
Well, I guess having grown up a lot with a lot of those types of movies, on the 3:30 movie and the 10, they used to show movies all day on the on the three channels we had, because that was a cheap programming. And boy, they showed all these kind of films, all this weird sci-fi stuff. And I'm sort of used to the cadence of them, I've seen a lot of the 50s ones, so this one didn't bother me. And it was made in 1960 and didn't come out till 1963.
Wow.
They held it from distribution, or they couldn't find a distributor. And finally, I guess, the drive-in craze took off, and there we go.
To quote another Claude Rains movie that I talked about at the beginning of this week, I'm shocked that they couldn't find a distributor for this movie.
Yes, sir. There you go. How about Claude Rains? Let's talk about Claude Rains since you brought him up. One of the most scenery-chewing performances I've seen in quite a while. His cigar, his accent, his way of calling everybody kid or youngster. It was, I'm like, I've never seen Claude Rains like this before. You've never seen Claude Rains like this before.
Yes, and I think this lack of distribution, people are trying to make sure that folks didn't. But no, I kid. Look, here's the thing, and I like Claude Rains a lot. Controversial statement there. I even like him in this movie. I like the idea of his character, but what I kept thinking about was, to your point, people would come along, whether or not they referenced this movie specifically or had it in their consciousness. People came along later and perfected a lot of the stuff that this film was trying to do. And I don't even know if they were original to this movie. It kind of feels like they were. But I was thinking, yes, in other movies about space and conflict and aliens, the entire runtime and plot of this movie would have been jammed into like a 15-minute prologue. There's a mysterious object that's hurtling towards Earth, and then it stops, and then ships come out of it, and there's the team of scientists who are trying to find out what it is. Eventually they go inside of it. I mean, You look at Star Trek: The Motion Picture. This thing is like
Right.
pre-Luger, right?
Right. And that's a really good comparison because I just saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and when I first saw it in '79, I hated it, and that's the last time I saw it. So to see it again and say, "Oh my God, they're almost out Kubricking Kubrick," in this one, it's just it was there was a lot of beauty in that movie, and I also say that there is a lot of originality in Battle of the Worlds. I mean, to your point as well, because you're saying down the line later they kind of took these things and went to another direction, but in this one the ideas are there. It's just the execution, because of the limitations they were working with, was the problematic. For one thing, no flames in space. I mean, I think they knew that back then.
Yeah, but I
There's
mean,
no
especially
flames in space.
right. And even if they did, you got to have something. Otherwise, it's just these static models like flying at each other on string or something. I mean, the flames give it some
I think
dramatic tension, right? Yeah.
I think somebody just liked playing with flames. So
Sure.
they were all exaggerated flames. But you're right. I love to know I'd like to see the DVD extra on the making of Battle of the Worlds.
Is there a commentary or anything on the disc, or like, are there supplements on
I
this, or is it just
I
the
have to
movie?
check. Probably some, film geek, you know, sci-fi guy who goes around the country thinking he knows everything.
I
I
aspire to
don't
be
know.
one of those folks someday. No, actually, that reminds me.
You already are, Ian. You already are.
I don't go around the country. I don't even leave my basement. Um, but
I know, but
actually,
but you're all around the world now. You got 24,000 people knowing that you exist
I
beyond
like
your
to
own little
I like to
basement
think
bubble.
that was before. That's just me, not before YouTube.
So
Just
so this is
no.
your basement. I assumed it was like a extra bedroom on the first floor or something.
I'm way downstairs. I am an internet meme. I'm the guy in the basement yelling angrily into a camera, surrounded by pop culture ephemera. I'm proud of it. But no, the as far as this movie goes, yeah, I thought it was oddly long for the short runtime and very boring. But I kept thinking about, all right, this would be a lot more exciting with the use of certain edits, a bit more dynamicism in the performances of everybody who is not
Right.
Claude Rains,
The editing
because
was
there's
really
like,
bad.
well, there's men and women scientists on one's on a moon base and the other's on Mars, and I think someone's on Earth, and like all of the characters, the actors kind of run together. I can't tell who's in a
They
relationship
do.
with who
They
because
do.
they have the same personality. They might as well just be, you know, uh Klaatu from The Day the Earth Stood Still, but even Michael Rennie had more personality.
It's true. And it was so funny because the first half of the film I watched on the DVD with Robin. And the second half I watched on YouTube. They had a really good print on YouTube, which I was very pleased about. But so we lasted maybe about 25 minutes. I mean, it's just so slow. But I said to her, "This is an Italian film, so I suspect there will be a busty woman involved." And sure enough, the movie starts with a busty woman,
Yeah.
and she ends up being part of the space crew, which is even bonuser. You get it,
I don't
bonuser.
like that. Yeah, I don't like that phrasing. That's as the kids call problematic. Um no, but yeah, I was wondering, like, who is this woman? Is she a space alien or something? Like, she's just acting all
And
very odd.
she's dressed like she's like Diana, she's on Amazon Island in Wonder Woman.
Like, I did like the opening kind of photography, the establishing of this very
Yeah.
strange kind of world. I mean, it's all shot on Earth, but it's an alien location. Um, I did like the inside of this craft, which is dubbed the Outsider. It's a giant
Yeah,
rock
that
that
was
the
pretty
people
cool.
eventually they land on and they go inside, and it's like red tubes everywhere, kind of like
Yeah, it's
almost like
really
this
well
tubular
done.
spaghetti. Yeah. The one thing I couldn't
Yeah,
quite make
and I
out.
was thinking to myself when I was watching that, anybody can do a sci-fi movie. You just have to have some creativity, and you have to have your actors believe what they're doing. And maybe that was a problem with the Battle of the Worlds, that the actors really didn't believe what they were doing. That's why they were so interchangeable. There was a scapegoat in the film. Do you know who the scapegoat was? Well, there's two, but I'll tell you the main one.
Ah,
The
who?
first one was Boyd. Remember, Boyd had a kid who was on the ship,
Oh
and
yeah.
he kept like, infiltrating the scene, and people were annoyed with Boyd, and he became the scapegoat. They kept going to him when something bad was going to happen. The second scapegoat, of course, is Fish Face. Do you know who Fish Face is?
Is that the older
Did you
doctor
see this
guy?
movie?
I did.
Yes, he was. It was Dr. Cornfield.
Yeah, Dr. Cornfield. Yeah. Look, here's the thing, Pat. I did see this movie, but again, it's so much like scientific jargon and gobbledygook that I couldn't separate the characters except for Dr. Cornfield and Dr. Benson. I remember that. Plus, there was I want to say his name was Bruce. No, it was
Steele. Steele, you
oh,
remember? He was
Fred
dating
Steele and Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, Eve was the Amazon, right?
I thought that was
The
Mrs.
Wonder
Collins.
Woman-esque.
I don't know.
No, I think Mrs. Collins was the slightly was it, maybe it was Kathy? No, Kathy and Bob were married. Kathy Cole and Bob Cole, Bill Carter and Jacqueline Durval. I have the cast in front of me.
I'm going to take your word for it. I got them confused with Fred and Eve halfway through the movie.
I had the same problem, dude. The same problem. Some of the thing I was like, what is the timeline of events? Because Benson, it seemingly 3 days go by and Benson's wearing the exact same thing, and then he changes into a suit, which I was like, why did he just come into the war? Why did they have to have that wardrobe change? Why?
Well, it's also an odd thing because I feel like the wardrobe department making this movie didn't quite have their act together. Because if you look, there's like the one button that's holding in Claude Rains' considerable belly, and it's hanging on for its life. But no,
another thing about Rains, I bet he had never been in a hammock before. That's how awkward. There's a couple of scenes where he's in a hammock, but he's sitting in it so awkwardly. I said, that man has never been in a hammock before.
You got to train to ride horses in a movie. You should have to be trained to sit in a hammock properly. Because I agree, it's weird. But
it was very weird.
But Benson he's a curmudgeon scientist that the other space explorer scientists refer to, and he's kind of calling the shots in the beginning, but then he has to defer to Space Command or whoever. I did like the detail of him.
He's worshipped.
Yeah, and he's got a headquarters like in this elaborate greenhouse, and he writes his mathematical formulas on planters. Like he's drawing on chalk on planters and figuring things out. I guess it's just like how he gets into the zone. It was a cool idea.
Well, I think Rains put a lot into the character that was not in the script. Because here's a guy who's been doing movies for 50 years by the time he's doing this film. And he knows his days are numbered. He still has interestingly enough, he still has Lawrence of Arabia ahead of him. But his days are numbered. So he's going to chew the scenery. He's the star of the damn film.
Yeah, he comes up before the title of it even. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to go through. It had an odd jazz score. It was kind of like you're sitting in a club in Greenwich Village in 1961 listening to this jazz score. Didn't you think?
I think.
Or did you notice?
I noticed the music was kind of eerie. Jazzy is a good way to put it.
It was discordant.
Yeah, but I think some early 60s jazz bar dope would have helped a lot getting through this movie.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Makes everything better, even this film.
But I did like because it takes a long time to get going to really
No
it's a
shit.
it's a really back heavy film because not much happens, but then by the time the asteroid, the outsider, orbits Earth, and all of a sudden there's ships flying out of it, and then they start
Oh my
shooting
God.
down
Once
the space rockets.
that's when
Wow.
it shifts. Yeah.
Um, but they're like
Back
the
heavy.
Space Command is shocked that Benson thinks that there's intelligent life inside there. They're like, why would you ever think there's intelligent life? And they're like, I don't know, maybe because they're shooting UFOs at us. What is going on
Well,
with the Star
also,
Command?
I'm glad you brought up the Star Command Council. You know, they were people from all around the world, apparently. Didn't all of them look like they were like a council that was deciding whether Sherlock Holmes should be published? I mean, they all look like they were from the 1890s. Even the Asian guy. I'm like, what is this, like a time portal that he's talking to?
Well,
But
again,
that was kind of cool, man, because it was like all these TVs with their face on it.
yeah, and again, this, I'm not the film historian that I want to be, or perhaps even should be, but we've seen this we've seen this convention in everything from the TV series 24 to like the Marvel movies. You go into a room and there's the heads of the world leaders on these screens all around you, and you're kind of
Right,
talking to them in a row,
right,
trying to figure stuff out. Again, this feels like, is
right.
that where this idea came from?
Well, you know, the first one, the guy who's sort of the head of the council, this hat is not working for me. Uh, the sort of the head of the council, he looked like the guy from Lost in Space. I think, can't think of it. The doctor, who's the doctor in Lost in Space? That
Oh, the
old
evil guy?
TV show. Yeah, like he's sort of an anti-hero in it. He's
Yeah,
stuck with them, but you know, kind of a feminine. But anyway, I thought it was him. You know,
I
those who
didn't.
are watching now are screaming at the screen, "It's this guy! It's this guy! Why do you have an old man on who can't remember anything?"
Especially, you should remember this. This would have been your jam, Pat.
Exactly. I was not a big fan of the show, but um, you know, I know Danger Will Robinson. You know, that robot they had, but I can't think of the name of the doctor right now.
I'm
I've
gonna
even.
find that out now because it's driving me crazy.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'm glad you are.
Oh, yeah, it's Dr. Smith, Dr. Zachary Smith,
Oh my God! And who is the actor who played him?
Jonathan Harris.
See, I thought the first guy was Jonathan Harris. It looked like Jonathan Harris, Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. So
Yeah,
I'm glad we came to the end of that segment. We can move on.
mystery solved.
The
But no,
the equality of the sexes is accomplished in this film, which I thought was very Star Trekian.
yeah, that's the thing is like, again, it feels almost like these movies and even TV shows like Star Trek that would go on to be very famous. Maybe they saw this obscure little bad sci-fi
Yeah,
film and said, "There's a lot that we can take here, and no one's going to notice
right,
because no one's seen it."
right,
Um,
right,
but yeah, that's something that did stick out to me too. When they're going in the spacecraft, it's not just a bunch of dudes in spacesuits. There's some women in there,
right.
and that was
And
not just the
they had
pilots, but
equal
also the people who
duties.
are, yeah, and the people in the different space commands and the different labs
Right,
and stuff. It was pretty equal.
right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And every special effects shot was either too long or too short. There was no middle ground. When they would just cut away, really, like, and there'll be a 2 second shot of the flaming rockets, and then back to the command center, then back to the flaming rockets, or they stayed on the flaming rockets for about 10 minutes. You're just like, what's going on here? They're
Well, also,
maneuvering and flipping and.
well, also, there's no sense of like geography in the space confrontations. It's like you've got the one rocket flying this way, and then yeah, like you said, they just flipped it. The same rocket just flying this way, and we're supposed to know, like, are they different rockets? Are they going to or
Well,
away from whatever?
where are they fighting? Are they fighting? Are they past the moon, or has this planetoid gone? They said it was 25,000 miles out, right, or 45,000 miles out. Like the moon's
Something
like 100,000 miles out, or something like that.
I can't do math, but but much like that movie, the Roland Emmerich movie Moonfall from earlier this year,
Yes.
they touch on that sort of towards the end because this planetoid thing, this intelligent
Hmm.
spaceship, is getting so close to the Earth that it starts like making volcanoes erupt and hurricanes and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And they did touch upon that. You're right.
Right, and then at the end, spoiler for Moonfall, you find out that the thing
No,
that is orbiting
I
Earth,
want to
yeah,
see it. Ah!
it's
Can I
better
take my
than
headphones out?
no, it's better than Battle
I
of the Worlds. No,
take my.
no, it's
I took them
put it
out.
back in. Put it back
All right.
in. It's
Spoiler over.
well, no, it's just like this movie. There's something fine. Okay, I give up. No, no
Let's
spoilers
see
for the
it.
no spoilers for the Academy Award nominated, to be sure, Moonfall.
Fine. I'm gonna. It's on. What is it on? It's on Netflix, right, or HBO Max, or what? Huh?
Probably, yeah.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Whatever.
Check it out. It's fun. It's well, parts of it are fun, but
Well, they had a Star Trek line in it. You remember, you know that Bones always says, "I'm a doctor, not a car mechanic," something like that. Claude Rains says, "I'm a scientist, not a defender of the human race."
yes, and that was one of the great things about his character is he was 100% curiosity, and that's what ultimately
Yeah,
led to his doom. Is like
yeah.
he has to know what's
Spoiler
inside
alert.
this. Yeah, he has to know what's inside this rock. He has to know if they're intelligent. He has to know what their
Right.
truth is. And then you mentioned failsafe towards the end because it gets to a point where this thing
Hmm.
is getting so close to the Earth and causing so much havoc that
Hmm.
Space Command decides, hey, we have to blow it up, and then it's like a race against the clock. Is ever gonna escape? And I
Right.
won't spoil how the movie ends because people want to check
Right.
it out.
Please don't.
Right, but it's it is the kind of thing that even if they were to just remake this movie today, I think they could make a really exciting version of it. But when they've got lines like
I
depth of
think it would
strokes
be a
at
great movie
maximum,
if you rewrote this. Uh huh.
yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
yeah, they've got all the techno babble that they try and deliver with conviction and passion, but they're so stodgy. It's like it's like a
Yeah,
parody of bad movies.
it really is. And I was like, they got Claude Rains who's chewing. Maybe he isn't even chewing the scenery, but because he's just being an actor, he looks like he's so extreme next to these robots. You
Yeah.
know,
I think you've hit on it
uh,
there because I think it's a pretty good performance. It's not obnoxious. What's obnoxious is everybody
right?
else around him who doesn't feel like they're giving more than 30%.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you wanted to get a cow prod and start hitting people. Um,
I wanted to do that for
the
myself so I could stay awake.
the I love that they had the multiple lighter gag, not once but twice. You know the old multiple lighter gag. Someone has a cigarette and he's very important, so all the lighters come out to light
Oh
it.
yeah. Hmm.
And they did it twice with Benson. The old lighter gag.
They had to fill up that 80 minutes somehow.
Now
Like,
remember, you know what was else was odd when the spheroid was about to hit the Earth. Who is the
mhm.
first guy they go to? The psych ops guy, the psychological guy, who is dressed like a 1960s dandy. He looked like he could be on Carnaby Street. You're just like, why are they going to the psych ops first? And he only has that one scene in the movie and then he's gone.
Well, they do talk about like getting the population under control by
Right,
telling
right.
telling like making the propaganda more convincing.
It
I
was
did
well,
also
it was funny because I thought maybe the screenwriter has a psychologist in his family. So he wanted to highlight the fact that psych ops would be the first thing that you go to when the spheroid is, you know. And
well,
also too, it had echoes of Armageddon. Is that the movie with Owen Wilson? Yeah, it had
and Ben
echoes of
Affleck,
that
yeah,
because here it was like a spheroid coming to Earth, and they had to somehow bang it out of the sky.
yeah. But I
Was
think
there any Cold War stuff in this? Like a Cold War allegory? What do you think?
Oh, and they kind of dance right past that, because especially with the scene with all the international leaders on the screen, they're all just kind of
Mhm.
giving him the business. There's none like, oh well, we can't trust the Russians or anything like that. They were all
Right.
just it was very much a Star Trek kind of vision of the future where everyone's kind of on the same page.
Well,
But no,
and
back
again, they were all dressed up in 1890s clothes, which I thought was so odd.
well, everything old is new. But no, back
Yeah.
to that the psyops guy. He does say we are facing a threat much greater than the outsider, public opinion. That was a hell of a line.
You gotta have a satisfied sip of coffee like you just did after writing a line like that.
Oh yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, and the other
um,
thing is there's they talk about that because there's a couple of couples in this movie that we talked about and they're indistinguishable from one another. But they did mention, I think one of them wants to get married or is interested in getting married, and
they're
they
already married, but they want a house and kids. That's Bob and
oh,
Kathy.
that's right. They were talking about before they got married, they took a psychotechnical exam to determine their marriage compatibility.
I was saying, bring that back. That might save a lot of heartache for people.
I don't know. I feel like I think the marriage rate would plummet because I don't know if anyone's really compatible with anybody anymore. It seems
No one would pass it. No one.
right, and then they'd
Okay.
outlaw the
Well,
test.
and they also had that odd long interlude, which included the psychotechnical material. I mean, it's almost like in the middle of the film, they introduce Bob and Kathy, and then we have to endure them for like 5 minutes.
Or
I mean,
six
I was
hours.
like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, this could have been taken care of in a minute, but you're prolonging it to like 5 minutes. It didn't deserve a scene, but maybe they were just fleshing out the 84 minutes of the movie.
I think that's right. I love a self-aware movie. There is a bit where Benson says, I can't remember the context, but I feel like it's Claude Rains commenting on the film. He says, "What a dull, silly little performance this is."
Well,
uh,
how about the fallen disc? Remember the fallen disc, the one that just plummets to Earth? And
mhm.
really bad special effects. It literally is a saucer with a little thing on it that falls through like a miniature set. And I thought the fallen disc. I've fallen and I can't get up.
I just when they cut back to it, fallen on the earth, it looks like a sunny side up egg. It's got like a
It
weird
does.
yellow dome and then the white, outer part of the saucer. I'm like, what is I'm hungry.
Well, and in the distance, it didn't look like that at all. From when it was coming out of the planet.
Well, I
So
think that's because if you'll notice, there are some close-ups on the saucers while they're in space during the action scenes. They're spinning like crazy. So I think it was just spinning so fast you couldn't really tell it even had a dome. 'Cause that was a surprise to me too.
the also I was thinking about the rain scene too. Where it started raining, and they had the classic yellow. You look like the Gordon's fisherman. You have the classic yellow slicker. I think Kathy or Eve was wearing it, but I was like, it must be actually raining because they didn't have the budget to make it rain. So,
They
somebody in the
probably wanted to
costume
film.
department, yeah,
I was gonna
somebody in
say,
the
yeah,
costume department had four random raincoats and they put them on.
yeah, I guarantee that was not in the scripts. um, but yeah,
How about the last line of the film? And I won't say it because I won't do the spoiler. Because there's a beautiful print of this on YouTube, and you can watch the whole thing with the like three ads in it. And but they have a brilliant closing line. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And I was thinking, in the right context, that could be a killer last line. You know,
I don't know if I know it. You'll have to tell me. I don't remember. I don't remember the
you
last
should.
line. I remember the last image.
I don't. You have to see everything up to the last line, and I don't think I'm spoiling it by saying the last line. So, if they opened up his chest, they'd find the formula where the heart should have been.
That's right. That is a great line.
It is a
Um,
great line.
But that's the frustration of this movie, Pat, is there's a lot of good in here. It's just surrounded by gunk. It's like a
I will say
95 to
though,
5 ratio.
I will say though that you have brought up more interesting things about it than I would say negative. So
Yeah, I was bored to tears, but I was still thinking a lot about what I was watching. So I don't think it's a
it
bad
was
movie.
slowly, and this fall movie season, this fall award season, whatever you want to call it, it's characterized by these glacial films. So here I am on my off night watching another glacial film. It's another slow moving. I've described films like a lead balloon in quicksand, a snail on a glue strip. What was the other one? A molasses in the freezer. I mean, this was all of this. This film was all of that, but yet it still had its moments, and that's. I'm telling you, I'm glad I saw this movie. I know we're wrapping up to 40, so I wanted to just say I'm glad I
No,
saw this movie, and I
I'm
fulfilled my obligation
you did.
with the good people of the DVD company who sent it to me. Even
It'd be
though I
better if
mentioned I watched the second half online.
well, it would also be better if you could remember what the name of the DVD company is. That's a
Well,
better plus.
yes,
Yeah.
that would be nice, but I couldn't even remember the Lost in Space guy, or I forget the other thing I couldn't remember. That's how bad my memory is.
That's a
I
t-shirt
can't
though.
remember the first thing I forgot. What?
Yes. I was going to say that I can't remember the thing I couldn't remember. Um, but no, actually, after this is over, I'll figure out, and you can help me, what the DVD like is, and I can put a link to it
Oh
down
yeah, yeah.
below in the
I'll
description.
send you all that information. I really will, because you need to put it in the body copy, because I'm going to send this as my review. So
Excellent. But I will
so
say,
and if we're going to do a 5-star system, sir, what would be your rating?
no. Uh, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 ratings.
Okay, I like
19,
that.
a moviegoer in 1961 who just wants a swinging Saturday night out at the movies to watch the latest sci-fi film. 3.5 stars. This is not knowing any better about what this movie could have been. I think it's got enough ideas and probably for the time pizzazz to say 3.5.
Cool.
2022 movie, negative 3.5 stars.
What? So like what? It's got to be better than 0, right? Would you say 2?
I said negative 3.5 stars, Pat.
Well,
No,
yeah,
okay,
smart ass.
I'll give it 1.5, and that is
Okay,
all for Claude Rains.
okay. No, I accept that beautifully. Now here's my whole thing with it. To me, it's about the experience, and I always ask myself, okay, even though this was very hard to get through, what was my experience like? And for all the things that I wrote down, and I wrote down a pretty fine list of things, I would say it even goes beyond the 3.5 for me. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5.
All right.
Go see Battle of the Worlds, and you can get it in a deluxe Blu-ray edition. Deluxe, I say.
So this isn't even DVD, it's a Blu-ray, you're saying.
It's a Blu-ray.
Wow.
It's remastered Blu-ray, and the print and the picture looks fantastic. So
That's
yes,
great because I mentioned I watched this on Tubi. I should have looked it up on YouTube first because you said the YouTube version still looked pretty good.
yes,
The version on
it did.
Tubi,
I think it was ripped from the Blu-ray. I really do.
well, the version that's on Tubi looks like someone took an original print from 1961 and
Grindhouse.
dropped it in bleach. It was almost unwatchable, which didn't help my experience.
I'm going to get the DVD because I want to say the name. Okay, do you mind?
No, go ahead.
It'll take me 1 minute. I know
All
where
right,
it is.
I'll vamp. This is me vamping. Yeah, so yeah, Pat's gonna go get the Blu-ray of Battle of the Worlds. Oh, here he comes. He's back already. Oh, did he drop it?
I hope you will edit that out. But
I know, I'm going to keep it all in.
here it is. Here's
Okay.
the Blu-ray DVD edition, and I hope I can find it back. It's film. It says Film Detective, but I don't think that's correct. No, it is. It's the filmdetective.com. He
All
must have
right.
found it, bought the rights, and now you have a nice DVD version of the Battle of the Worlds in
Excellent.
fantastic color. It
Well,
says fantastic color.
all
So
right.
anyway, yeah, good. I've got that. Good. Filmdetective.com. Now can I do my plug?
I was going to say, what you got something that you want everyone to know about, and I want to know what it is. So yeah, go away.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Take it away.
It on December 15th, 16th, and 17th, I will be participating as an actor in a play called A Judy Christmas. It will be a takeoff on the 1963 Judy Garland Christmas special, done only through Famous in the Future comedy troupe Can Do. So look forward to that. It's
Where
going
is
to
this
be
going
at
to
the
be?
Den Theater in Wicker Park. I'm going to say it's 1333 North Milwaukee. It might be 1331, but it's in the 1300 block. So look it
Okay.
up.
Are
And you can
tickets
get
on sale
tickets
yet?
on, yes, you can get a ticket link at famousinthefuture.com. That's famousinthefuture.com in fantastic color.
And I'll have a link to that down below as well. So
Excellent.
Pat, tell me about your process, your preparation for playing Judy Garland.
Fortunately, I'm not playing her.
Oh,
I'm the worst at doing drag. I hate doing drag. We do drag occasionally in the comedy troupe. I did drag the last show. I don't like doing drag. The last show I didn't mind because I was supposed to be undercover as a dude playing a woman, sort of a Tootsie thing. So,
wow.
but yeah, I know. It's crazy, but the play is awesome. We're just kind of getting it off its feet right now. So I have rehearsal tonight. So it's going to be awesome. And I was going to suggest for our Christmas overview that we do a review of a Judy Garland Christmas special. I know a lot about it. I can give some facts and figures, and you have never seen it, correct?
Is it a TV show or is it a movie or what is it?
Yes, it was a TV show from 1963. Now picture this. JFK is assassinated November 22nd, 1963. The special was filmed on December 6th. His body wasn't even cold in the ground, and they were doing a Christmas special. And you can see it on their faces how difficult that is for them. And Judy just takes a lot of pharmaceuticals and gets through it, as you would expect from Ms. Garland. And I don't blame her, quite frankly. Her and Jack were good friends. He may have stooped her. I don't know.
Yikes. Well, I've written it down on a post-it. So done. We're going to talk.
So, would you like to do for our Christmas show in nostalgia, like nostalgia? Can we do the Judy Garland Christmas special? And that will give us a reminder too of the show coming up. And you will have seen the Judy Garland Christmas special, and you can come see the show and see how we do a takeoff.
Yes.
So I know you like to put it up on Christmas Eve, though, right? Our usual Christmas show.
No, I can be persuaded for a special event and promotion of a special event that you're involved in, sir. I'll do
so we
it
would have to have it up before the 15th. So I would say the week of the 15th would be a great slam bang last minute promotion. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna put that in the calendar and we will do that.
Excellent.
So, that sounds awesome.
And you can see it on YouTube, by the way. You can see
Okay.
it with the old timey commercials on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool. Are you going to be doing the commercials in your act?
Yes, it will be.
Awesome.
It's going to be a play on it. So we'll see how it goes. We're still working on it. Oh, a lot of moving parts in this show. Let me tell you. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see that and to talk about Judy Garland Christmas special. But that's like more than a month away. We're going to be back next month talking about something. which we got to figure
Well,
out.
no,
But,
no,
yeah.
this is November, and we always go one. Well, I mean, we
Oh my
usually go
God,
once a month.
oh yeah, it's so
Yeah,
yeah. I'm totally like a
yeah.
month out of whack. So yes, this will be
No,
next month.
I got you,
Okay.
bro. I
Oh,
lost October because of the film festival, so I know.
wow. All right.
But yeah, that's our Christmas overview, which I think will be a lot of fun. And I just know so much about it that you know, we can fill in the gaps and have a lot of fun like we did with this one. I think this was a tremendous amount of fun. You out there, I hope you had fun with us. And you will tell your friends and neighbors to go see A Judy Christmas if they're in Chicago at the Den Theater, 1300 block of North Milwaukee Avenue in the beautiful, Ian, I say beautiful, Wicker Park neighborhood.
And even if they're not in Chicago, get your ass to Chi-Town and go check out the show.
Get your ass over here.
Yeah.
Come see a good show.
You got time. You got like a month. All right. Pat, the Uber
All right,
critic
brother.
McDonald, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, sir, for recommending this movie. Even though I didn't care for it, I love that there's so much to talk about, as always.
Yes, it was. And I'm glad that the good people at thefilmdetective.com sent me this Blu-ray DVD edition of it.
Excellent. All right, man. Take care. Plug accomplished, and we'll catch you next month.